Look, I'd rather be a gambler than a naked. I walked in, sat down, had to leave, and violently vomited.
No, I'm not going down that hole. I'm not. Don't even try me. Not today, Satan. Not today. I value my precious.
You're the cream, and the coffee is like you bring cream to my life. Oh, that's sure. Once a week for an hour. Welcome to Yep Yeah Yes with Marissa and Tamieka. You don't have to do that because we're sitting next to each other. So I think it's gonna. She's pointing to me. Anyway, I'm pointing to Marissa.
She's pointing to Tamieka.
Yep, and we're in person.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, you're welcome. It's an interesting day. It's beautiful outside on Long Island. Spring is here. I'm not going to get into the birds chirping. The bees are singing.
The allergies are going.
Exactly. How are you, Marissa?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. As y'all can see, we have one mic. The other one's on the way. I think we have done it. Want to give a shout out to Fro Man, who pretty much
welcome. Thank you.
But that doesn't negate all the people that did also contribute to our fundraiser. Y'all are appreciated too. We did buy some things and made it work. So shout out to Fro Man though. You went above and beyond. I don't know what you expect in return. I'm not that type of lady. Well, I used to be. I was listening to a podcast, by the way, Side Point, with Issa Rae and Jamel Hill, and they were like, "You should never be ashamed of your whole phrase." I agree.
Your whole phrase?
Yeah, I think I said phrase.
I didn't have a whole phrase.
So anyway, today's show is called Flat Earth. Flat Earth? Flat Earth. Celebrating Earth Day 2021. We know Earth Day was a couple days ago, but Earth Day is every day now. It's another one of our pandemics, and I thought we can shed a little light on how we feel about the Green Deal, the Earth, recycling, and what our thoughts on it. Before we begin, though, for those of you that don't realize, there are a lot of celebrities who have shed light over the years on flat Earth phenomena. And so I have this one video that I'm going to play that kind of sets the mood for what we're going to kind of talk about. The video is actually of Sherri Shepherd, who formerly of The View. Now, I'm not saying that she ain't on The View because of this clip, but I don't know. We just check it out. Here we go.
So you don't believe that evolution happened? Are you saying that? So you don't believe it's possible that God, and I'm going to make it in the way that I speak, so it's fun, that God sneezed and went, "I got a great idea," and created a universe, which then took its movement? Because I believe dinosaurs to birth for all of those. I believe that God has given us a couple of markers to work from. I believe that. And so I have to believe that all of the knowledge that he's put into us to learn, he said, "Listen, take it and run with it. This is why I created you." I'm not sure that I can actually believe in both. So you can't have one without the other, I don't think. I don't think you can have science and God. Yes, darling. 4 members of the Republican Party who are running for president also do not believe in evolution. Yes. So if there was a gasp in the audience, then it should be a bigger gasp. Is the world flat? Is the world flat? Yes. What do you think? I never thought about it, Whoopi. Is the world flat? I never thought about it. I never thought about it. But I'll tell you what I've thought about: how I'm going to feed my child. I'm going to take care of my family. The world flat has never entered into that has not been an important thing. You'll teach your son Jeffrey, right? My son Jeffrey asked me, "Is the world flat?" I guess I will go. Give world is round,
Yeah.
where would you negate that
Well, because-
science? Well, let me get it out
Go ahead.
first. That science may say, okay, here's what we think has happened. And if you put your faith in the idea that the world is round, can we not also believe that part of that comes from is
And that's
evolution
why I
as
think
well?
God gives us those kinds
Okay,
of
that's what I
markers.
was asking.
He gives us those kinds of markers, but there are things that he does say in the Bible that I take absolutely and I believe it. He said he created.
Some of the Bible is certainly to be respected and beloved. But what about some of the scientific things, like is the world flat or round, and do we get energy from the sun and so forth?
And those
You-
are the
you
those
got
are
to know
those,
those
those are those markers that God goes up, that I have a free will and I have
If
a
your
mind.
son says to you, Mom, is the world round or
And I'll
flat?
have to go, baby, we gotta go to the left.
So she ain't really gonna say whether or not she thinks the world is flat or not. She reminds me of you in this clip. She ain't really committing to an idea. Like, I'm not really trying to share my thoughts. It's about the kids.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, the one thing I did realize though from this clip, they were sitting mad close. That table was so small. Like Corona did not happen yet.
I know.
Barbara
They were a
Walters
little
was at the
too
table.
close.
They were way too close.
And they talk over each other. Oh my gosh,
It's-
that clip was exhausting. Just
I
how,
love
like,
the show though. I'm a fan.
but just the way they like quip at each other, like let her talk.
But
She might have-
that's
she
what
might have
makes them
com-
successful.
But she might have committed to a thought had they let her talk.
She wouldn't have committed to a thought because the whole thing is to say your thought right then and there. It's an hour show, probably whittled down to 42 minutes, including commercials. I mean, without commercials.
Yeah.
And we don't have time for you to hum and haw about a play. If you don't have a question,
And
just be
this
like,
is-
I don't know.
Remember when we were on Dr. Oz, and that's why I got cut from that little segment because
You was on there? I don't remember.
Together we were on there.
I know we were on there together, but I don't remember you speaking.
Yeah, because it got cut. Remember?
No.
What
What happened? What was you saying? This is your time. Say it.
No. I'm not going to say it. But remember, we were on there about in vitro stuff,
Right. I don't remember what you said though.
and they were part of it was the salacious comment that somebody had said to me about my kids,
Right.
and they wanted me to talk about it, and I was like, long pause. Well, and I was like, cut.
Like that's why you ever watch these shows that are live and they're like, got 30 seconds to answer. Like on news programs, they like, you
They're-
got 15 seconds.
As live as they are, they're still not live. They're on a delay
No,
because
yeah,
they're editing as it's
as it's
being
going.
spat out at you. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
No, I don't believe the earth is flat. But I'm intrigued by people that do.
I'm very intrigued by that because there's like NASA.
Wait, do you believe the earth is flat?
No, I do not
Okay, I'm
believe the
about to
Earth is
say,
flat.
we're gonna have to reevaluate our friendship because
No. You know why? Because it's like, do you ever go down that rabbit hole, especially in social media, when you start with one clip and it goes and it's like you go into like the flat Earth people, and they're like, but when you this and this, and you're like, that kind of makes sense. It's a coherent argument. It makes sense.
they're good at that.
They're good at that. But okay, but here's the thing. This is why, like, I will never believe it. So my mom has taken the Concorde.
Mhm.
The Concorde goes very, very high and very, very low. While you're on the Concorde and you go very, very high, regular standard airplanes go inner space, outer space, NASA, inner space, American Airlines. The Concorde goes very, very high that they're at that cusp. You could see the Earth.
The shape of the earth.
You could see what do you call that, the outline, the crest, the curve of
Right.
Earth. You can see it. And she was like, it's incredible because what you see, like, it's like
Damn, from the plane.
from the plane, it goes so high, and
Why
it's
did they
not in
get rid
outer
of that?
space, but it's expensive.
I know, but you know how many people probably would still pay, like, raise your
Right?
fees. There are people that would pay.
Hey, 4
astronom-
hours to get to London, as opposed to what the 8 or not, whatever. Anyway, it's coming back. It's gonna come back, and I believe in you, British Airways, and you can see the curve of the Earth. You can
Right.
see the horizon. So it's like I will never ever believe that the Earth is flat. And like, there's been like those things where, like, remember, was it Red Bull that they did that thing with the guy, and it's like he did a free fall, obviously with the parachute, but free fall from like the highest and like they showed him going up in this, like, I don't know if it was a hot air balloon, but it was something, and
Mhm.
he went really, really high, and you all of a sudden, like, you see the earth, and then it's like the horizon, and then it goes bloop. He was that high up, and then he jumps, and then it goes like that. Like, I will
That's
never
crazy.
believe the earth is not
There are people
round.
that believe it.
But like when you go down that rabbit hole, you're like, that shit really makes
But
sense.
you know what though? I have no respect for the people who like go hard in the paint where the earth is flat. Then somebody gives them one reason why it's not, and they're just like, okay, I believe you. Like you was real like you didn't.
Who have you seen? Because all flat
No,
earth
I'm just
people that I've spoken to, they're like,
no, but like there are people like okay, so one of the people is this basketball player Kyrie Irving, who has said it for years. The earth is flat. And then he like got confronted in person. He's like, well, yeah, I see your point. Like, really?
maybe he just didn't want to argue.
But I have no conviction in you though.
Oh, you
That's
need to
what I'm
like
like
go all the way
if you
with
gotta
it.
go hard like that about something like that, you
Go
gotta go all the
all the
way.
way.
Even if you don't feel like arguing. You
Yeah.
can just be like, I agree. Let's agree to disagree.
Okay.
I'm good with that phrase. A lot of people don't like that. I'm good
Yeah.
with that phrase. I use that a lot. I've had ex-boyfriends who get pissed at me because I'm like, no, let's just agree to disagree. And they're like, no.
I don't agree.
I don't-
I like when you talk to flat earth people and they talk about like what is that? Antarctica?
Antarctica.
Which one's at the bottom?
This is not geography.
Antarctica? The Arctic, yeah, Arctic, Antarctica.
Antarctica.
How they say like, you know, how it's like a protected whatever. They're like, you never know where it is because that's the wall around the flat earth. And I'm like, okay. But I love how they like bring that in where like they're like, well, who's ever been to Antarctica? I'm like, well, there's, you know, like science labs there. They're like, see, and
But
that's
they
where
don't
the
want to
aliens
believe.
are.
They don't want to believe scientists. Like if I'm like real, I'm not gonna put my faith in Kyrie Irving over, a scientist who makes it their job. Your job is to play basketball. You want to tell me like that was a foul? I'm gonna believe you. You want to tell me the Earth is not flat? I need your 1 year, your more than 1 year of college because you got drafted in for, as a freshman. You know what I'm saying?
But
It just no, I'm like serious
But
though.
you
It's
know
like
what's so funny? I say that obviously not in that verbiage, but I say that to so many people. Like, you know how sometimes somebody's like, you know, they're convicted, and you're like, you didn't get past ninth grade, right? Like, and we are having an intellectual argument.
I
But also a paper. Just disclaimer: having a degree doesn't mean you're smart. I
no,
have a
it doesn't.
master's and I'm stupid. So
You're not stupid. You just I think having a degree makes you should be well versed in whatever subject you study. You know what I'm saying?
I got
Like
a master's in
no, you gotta don't belittle yourself. Like I know what I know. I don't
yeah.
like I didn't
Yeah.
study theology, so I don't can't talk to you about theology. I didn't study mathematics but I know a little something about Shakespeare. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like you know what you know, and so I don't need somebody to tell me that's not a scientist to tell me about.
But I'm gonna need you to work for NASA though. Like I need you to work for NASA and then tell me that.
No, but even like everybody can't work in NASA, but they
Yeah,
can be
but
smart enough.
yeah, but no. But if you're gonna tell me the Earth is flat,
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna need you to work
yeah,
at
yeah.
NASA.
I thought you were
Like,
saying a scientist that worked for
yeah.
NASA is not smart.
Oh, fucking rocket scientists. I think they were all right.
Yeah, like okay, so I'm going through the list I shared it with you, the list of celebrities who have said that the Earth is flat, and I came across this one. Remember Tequila? What happened to her? She got remember
Oh.
she was like everywhere. So she says in a Twitter meltdown of legendary proportions, she reasoned that planes would crash if the Earth was actually round and buildings would have a noticeable tilt, which would apparently be visible to the naked eye. She then accused Hillary Clinton of having been assassinated and replaced by a clone, and that Tequila herself was also a clone. And people was like, "Yeah, I agree."
This is the same Asian woman who poses with Nazi garb,
Exactly.
has been a known drug user. And okay, so next.
The next person, since you say next, AJ Styles, who's a wrestler, he said, uh, I'm not a flat earther. I'm just saying there's some things about it that make sense. I don't think you can handle it. Um, through it all, he fell back on his weak defense of I'm a sci-fi guy. That's the problem too. People that are obsessed with Star Trek and Star Wars, like that's where they get their science from.
Well, apparently, hold on a second though. So here's like, listen, Star Trek and Star Wars. I'm gonna have to defend this because they have a lot of science-backed fiction in there. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that have
So do soap operas
yeah, exactly.
and ER and
yeah, exactly,
Grey's
exactly.
Anatomy.
But I'm not gonna look and be like, I've watched every season of Grey's Anatomy. Let me do surgery.
Right.
So just because you like sci-fi, you know what I'm saying, don't mean that makes you.
And it's the same analogy as like just because you bought a keyboard doesn't make you a pianist.
Beethoven.
Exactly.
You ain't Beethoven.
Exactly.
You got a violin, but is you Yo-Yo Ma?
Oh shoot! Look at you off the dome, off the dome. Yo, ma.
I love Yo-Yo Ma. Remember? So hold on. Cut to picture it. 25 years ago, Sam Goody used to have to take a test to work there. Sam Goody was a music store. You have to take a test in order to work there. So if you failed the test, you couldn't work there.
Really? I don't remember this.
No, FYE.
Oh, okay.
FYE. Sam Goody, they gave you a test, but
Did they?
it didn't matter if you passed or failed. Yeah.
I don't even remember.
And one of the things that both stores had was Yo-Yo Ma. And the reason that it just like everyone always they're like Yo-Yo Ma. I don't really listen to rap, and I'm like,
Okay, that's.
No.
I gotta shout Yo Ma. Are you sorry? Finish.
No, so whenever somebody's talking about something, especially when it comes to music, I'm
Like that. When it comes to what he does, it's the gold standard. Like, did you see like a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, he got the COVID vaccine, and it's like a 15-minute wait when you get your shot. To make sure they want to make sure you're okay or whatever. So you sit there for 15 minutes, and he pulled out his cello and began to play for everybody in there.
Did you imagine?
You know how many people probably like, I don't know who is that.
Some
This
guy
guy-
pulled out this.
They're filming. There's like some guys playing.
No, you know somebody's like, this guy had a banjo.
Exactly.
That's a ukulele.
Exactly.
This guy had a
Oh
ukulele.
my god! But there probably are people that did that. But anyway, so now where do you stand
Excuse
with
me.
Pico? He's looking at the wrong person in the wrong direction. Anyway, so where do you stand when it comes to like I said in the opening, we are celebrating this week Earth Day.
Mhm.
And so how do you feel about like recycling and stuff like that, and how committed are you to making the planet a better place?
Okay, so I have a very long-winded answer. So first,
I'm gonna sit back and drink my water.
yeah. Okay, so first, I believe in recycling. Love it. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Talked about it all week at school. It's Earth Day. Here's the problem though when it comes to recycling. Every municipality does not have the same recycling functions or capacities. So when it says that we recycle plastic, it's not all plastics. And different municipalities have different equipment in order to process all of this. So I feel like when it comes to single-use plastics, we've been sold a bill of goods and it's not there. So plastic, oh, I'll just recycle it. It's not always taken. So it ends up in a landfill anyway. When it comes to especially like, okay, let's use straws for example. I happen to really like metal straws just because of the taste. I don't like paper. Nothing beats a fountain soda with the little ice that you get like from Chick-fil-A and a plastic straw.
A little ice.
You
Oh,
know,
the crushed ice?
Girl.
Oh, don't eat.
crushed
have
ice from Chick-fil-A,
the iced tea, crushed ice.
and then the straw. The straw is at a certain diameter so it could taste better.
I didn't realize that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is crack.
Shit's crack. So here's the thing though. But when it comes to straws, they don't even recycle these straws. So but here's the thing though. So I feel like that is such a minuscule amount of plastics that end up in a landfill as opposed to single-use plastics when it comes to water bottles that we buy. So, but there's also like, implications when it comes to those that are differently able that do need that plastic. Where so there's there's things like that. I'm committed to, and I've been committed to this for a very long time. I do bring my own bags to the grocery store, and I usually do try to bring my own bag or not no bag at all. And I've been doing that for a really long time
Before they even
before it was a thing.
Long Island, for those that don't live here, they charge you if you want to use their bag. Like they charge you regularly, like a
Yeah, they charge you 5 cents, but
yeah.
they don't
There's
even
no more
have.
plastic
There's no
bags
more
in the
plastic.
store.
But I've been committed to that for well over 15. Nah, I'll say well over 10 years. I won't go as far back as 15. I bought these black reusable bags from Walmart a really, really long time ago. And that's just something I've been committed to far beyond that it was a thing. Um, Unfortunately, though, when it comes to processing these materials, I think there are better ways, like, banana leaves, palm leaves, things like that, but that's not readily available in our area. So there are better things that we need to be doing, but now it also comes to manufacturing and all that stuff. So how do we get that translated to, where is it processed, local shipping, things like that. So it's a larger conversation than can be had in a 45-minute podcast. So my answer is, in conclusion, I'm very much committed to recycling, but I'm also very much committed into putting my dollars where packaging goes. So I try my best to not buy things that are packaged multiple layers of plastic. Um, and how that company has manufactured that product as well. So I'm into it. I love it. I want more of it. But at the same time, I think that needs to go from higher levels of government where it's a requirement. And I think once companies have to pay or are taxed differently on how they manufacture, I think that's the only time that it'll be a real change when it comes to, our environment. I also think that um, if we invested on the local level, this is why local government is so important. Um, your local municipalities have processing facilities to recycle different levels of plastic and metals and glass. If they put more dollars into that, then all those other small like microplastics that are ending up in not only our food, water, and our grounds, soil would be handled better.
So with me, I don't like I I gauge myself. There's two levels of recycling that I in my life. There's the Marissa level of a 10 and my family level of a 1. So I think I'm like a 5 because I don't smoke, so I'm not throwing cigarette butts in the driveway. Um, Anytime I buy water bottles, if I get water, I recycle the bottles. What I started doing now is just buying a jug of water instead of a case. And then I just have my personal water bottle and I just fill that up before, each day. I keep a jug in my car and I keep a jug in the house. And so when I'm driving, I drive around a lot for work. So when I'm driving, I'm always refilling my water bottle. Um, and that's probably like the extent of it. Um, I know like they just released not like this earlier this year, I believe, or maybe it was last year, the Green New Deal, and they want to vote on it with infrastructure deals and what we should do as a nation to be better towards our planet. And I'm with it. I need people to tell me what to do though, because if I don't think about it. So if it's not in my face, like I
Right.
have no problem with carrying my food out. I have no problem with buying biodegradable products. But if I don't know, like I'm just in, just make it accessible,
Mhm.
make it standard,
Right.
and then I'll be all about it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's where I come. I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm for it. But I also am the type of person that needs it in my face 24/7.
Right.
I'm the type of person that like needs to see like African babies with flies around their face for me to donate money. Like that kind of you'd be like, oh, to see puppies like walking with 3 legs. I'm like, oh shit,
Oh.
let me get a GoFundMe. Like I need to tug at my string. Like when I saw this documentary or like clip of it where they were cleaning like the ocean and there were like ducks with like plastic wrapped around like from the soda
Yeah.
cans wrapped around them, their
Mhm.
beak. And so I was like, oh, I can't buy a 6 pack. So like
No,
that,
but you just cut it up.
I know, but I just like not going to do any at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And ever
Yeah.
since then, I started. I think you told me about the cutting it up. I thought I was like, what are you supposed to do? And then like ingenuity. On a side note, like first you told me like just cut it up. You told me that before. But on a side note, how it pisses me off. I don't know how it affects you when somebody comes up with an idea that's so simplistic. Like, why didn't I think of that? Like, am I stupid?
All the
Like
time.
something like that. I'm like, why didn't I just like like thinking to myself, well, I'm just not gonna buy soda no more.
No, but you know what I actually like? I like when they put the 6-pack cans in that like like that pulp, that crushed pulp. It's not as hard as like a cardboard, but it's not as flimsy as paper. And I feel like that's more sturdy than the plastic.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm trying to remember what brand does it, but it's like instead of like the plastic rings around the 6-pack or 12-pack, whatever, it's in this like, and that's biodegradable.
Okay.
But not only that, that holds more, like let's say, like when you're putting something in like in a paper bag, if you put that at the bottom is now more sturdy.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
like reuse them.
I've seen stuff like that with like plants. They put the planter is now you just plant the whole
The whole
planter,
thing. Yeah.
which is pretty cool. So that's
Yes.
the thing that I'm saying. Like I need to when I'm doing impulse buying,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, not that I buy bubble gum, but if you show me, okay, this is the bazooka with the biodegradable wrapper,
I'm
it's
gonna
like
buy it.
you just
Yeah.
more inclined. You think to
More
yourself,
inclined. Yeah.
Um, and then like the one thing where I'm failing though is because I like don't like washing dishes. I just don't. I'm constantly buying the Tupperware in like the dollar
They
store,
have the disposable.
but no, I'm cheap too. They don't
It,
have that in
it's
the dollar.
oh, if you go to Lidl or
No, the dollar
Aldi,
store.
but when I tell you, it's just as cheap. You
Is it
get
a
by
dollar? Just as cheap? A
it's
dollar
like it's
fifty
like
is not a
two.
dollar.
No, but it's two something, and the quantity is more.
It's not a
Than,
dollar.
but it's the quantity is more than the dollar store, and it's all biodegradable flatware and cutlery.
And you just throw it away after you use it?
Yes,
Okay,
it's all biodegradable.
I'll try it out. I don't know. I buy these containers and then I heat up my food and then I throw it away. I'm like, I don't feel like washing this. Like if I had a dishwasher, I'd be more inclined.
Yeah.
But I've also one thing that I think that you and I have flipped since from when we met to where we are now. Like I'm more inclined to throw shit away. Like I'm constantly throwing shit away.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be that way.
Right.
Like as soon as you got something, you're like, bye. Now you're just like, I think you have more of a sentimental tugging. Am I wrong? Like
No,
I'm
no,
not
I
I'm not
hate.
trying to be
No. You know what it is because so that started when my mom died.
okay. That
I
makes sense.
completely hoarded everything. Like
You
all
used
of
to
this,
if you would have went to your house, people. If y'all would have went to Marissa's house
it looked like I didn't even live there.
15 years ago,
Didn't even live there.
she wouldn't even have a toaster on the counter.
Nothing.
It was completely bare.
It looked like I didn't
Now
even
it's
live there.
like
Shit
I'm
everywhere.
like her bookcases are filled, like
Shit
everything. And I'm like, what the
everywhere.
every time I turn around, I'm like, oh, I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get rid of
Shit
this. I gotta
everywhere. I'm getting better.
Are you?
Yeah, because I had to have a coming to Jesus moment because I'm like, what happened to me? And then I was like, when did this start? And I really think that like, that displacement that you feel. Thankfully, you don't know, but there's a displacement that I felt like when my dad died. It was really really hard, but I don't know if it's because I transferred all that like double parent energy just to my mom and taking care of her. I was her caregiver when she was sick.
Right.
So I think part of that left me feeling um disconnected, almost like just to the earth even, and things. It was just like, maybe I'll feel more connected if I hold on to this piece of paper or candle or whatever. It just, I needed it for my own spirit. I just, for the longest time, I feel I'm not over, obviously my grandparents and my mom and all these people that I really care for, they have since passed. I I feel better. I feel more settled. I understand that, they're the lucky ones. I believe they are present with the Lord. So, intellectually knowing that, and then spiritually coming to terms with it, I'm in a better place. So I have been like going through and rifling through and tossing things and stuff like that. But it was really one of those things that I couldn't get past it. And the more things around me, obviously I was looking to fill a void and with things.
Well, that's also too, like, kind of figures into our topic with Earth Day, because a lot of the things that we hold on to are things that could actually be recycled, and it might be somebody else's treasure as well.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily mean recycling in terms of garbage, but it could be
So
just recycling in terms of your own. Like, I have a neighbor, just real quick. I have a neighbor who started a hat and purse business. So she makes this, like, you know, she just makes stuff. I
right.
should ask her if she has a Cricut, because that's what you use.
Yeah.
But she's like, she turns her old jeans into a pocketbook and a hat. Like,
Oh
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So things like that, instead of just like throwing it away and wasting it, she just is recycling the things in your house, and giving it to other people. If you have books, drop them off at the library or a book
Right.
donation thing, and
So there's Reuse America, and those big like donation bins.
mhm.
Reuse America, when whatever they take, so there's a certain amount of plastics in our clothing. So whatever they can't is not like together enough, not gently used enough, they recycle all of that. They recycle anything like soft goods, meaning not like electronics and like like a vase,
Right.
but like all the soft goods. So I do all my recycling with that. I don't really drop it off at Goodwill anymore. I do it through there because I know that all my old soft goods will end up being recycled, and it helps create jobs because when they take all of this, they need more people at the manufacturing level. So, it's called Reuse America. So you check out to see if you have that um, nearby.
What do you think about, like, you have children? What do you think about, like, educating them? 'Cause I think about Greta Thunberg a lot.
Hmm.
Like, she's like, I think she's 18 now. I think she's 18.
Somewhere around there.
Some
She looks
she's
older.
she's very young.
Yeah.
She's under 21. Um, but the fact that she's become such an advocate
Hmm.
for global, I wouldn't global awareness, global, what would you call it?
Yeah. Global awareness. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact that she's become at such a young age an advocate for taking care of our globe,
Hmm.
and being so young, and you find out that she's on the spectrum as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
so it's like, what do you like? Do you ever think to yourself, like how, like, you got kids,
Hmm.
like, what are these parents doing? Like, how
Hmm.
did like, I not just her, but like, you look at all these kids that are like,
Be doing it, and then you look at your dumbass kid who can't even take the lid off yogurt. Hmm.
that's not where I was going. I was saying, what?
That's where my mind. No, but no, you know what? It's funny because like my kids, um, it just has become such an ethos to them. Like when like they're doing things, like they're like, I'll see them go to the trash and like do a quick look. Oh, that's recycling. And like I have a lot of like trees and stuff and whatever in the yard, and they're very cognizant of like um just being careful, like don't disturb like whatever nature, whatever wildlife we find,
Right.
like we have this one big turtle that like shows up every now and again, and they'll run inside, get him too, like like he likes very bright things, so like strawberries and like tomato, and like they'll run outside and give it to him, like don't disturb nature. Oh, if we're at a park or at a beach, like stuff that's obviously like they're not picking up cigarette butts and like crack vials, but if it's just like a quick little
Are
like
there really crack vials still out in the streets? I don't think so.
I don't know, but side note, I remember I grew up in the crack epidemic. I remember playing at the park and you had to count like you pick a color and there are crack vials all over the playground and you pick a color and if you can count your color more than you won. So it'd be like green, red, blue, and it was like small little crack vials.
Them crack vials, like for real, the amount of crack vials I would see, but I didn't see different colors. I would always see like the brown one with the black.
You probably only had one dealer. This is talking about like
Well, I
Scotch
wait.
Charlotte.
I wasn't smoking the crack.
No.
You're saying I got a
area.
dealer.
No,
Like
the area. The area probably had one dealer with one like
'Cause
signature, not you.
crack is whack.
Crack.
I
Show me
didn't-
the receipt.
Show me the receipts. Because I was not smoking. I smoked my fair share of blunts in college. They was not laced with anything. I seem fine now.
I can't even imagine that, like, even just the plastic alone that was on the floor, like thinking about that at a park today, and like every like caregiver that took these kids to the park, and there's like the floor is littered with crack vials, and nobody's even like
Them shits could have been recycled. Like nobody thought to recycle this shit.
right.
Like you turn this into your dealer and you
And
get a dollar off. I'm just saying.
You know.
This is why most of them crack dealers is in jail or dead. Because they didn't have the ingenuity. They had that
And-
business sense.
And it was like, you keep coming.
Yes.
Because I know I'm gonna get a dollar off. See?
You don't know how to recycle. You didn't care about the earth.
It-
You only
listen,
cared
customer
about your
loyalty.
$5.
You would have had customer loyalty, repeat customers, like signature, like gotta go to my guy, you get a dollar. I'm telling you.
But there are some changes. Because like now that weed is legal in Long Island, I see that the way that they're distributing the weed. It used back in my day, it used to be a little nickel bag, a little bag of weed. You put plastic, but now they got like containers,
yeah.
and you can recycle, you reuse them.
All I'm saying is that all those people on those RICO charges for dumb shit because of these, like, obviously there's never going to be like a reparations or stuff like that because the law was the law at the time. But I just,
It's
man,
crazy. You
Y'all
ever
gonna-
watch that show Snowfall?
I haven't
You need
yet.
to watch
I
it.
know I need to watch it.
I'm on the current season. Like I binged it for a few months.
I need to do that. It's so funny because it's like whenever I don't have personal connections with like heavy drug users as far as like in my home, like that I lived in, but crack was such an epidemic growing up, 70s, 80s. And my dad, owned a nightclub and there was like heavy cocaine users around me. That's more what cocaine is a drug.
Cocaine is still people still getting lifted.
So I just think about like, people always taking out like, the bills and piling coke on it and just like, I'm 4 and my brother's 5, like in front of us. Like it was just so like I think in those times that it's like I didn't even know where I was going, but I know I need to catch Snowfall.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, moral of the story is
Crack is whack.
crack is whack. If
Cocaine
you
is
got
a hell
some
of a drug
plastic bottle,
and no single use plastic.
recycle it. Recycle it. I mean, what else?
And make sure the cap is on because they can't recycle it
But just
separately.
take it to the witch bowl. Get your 5 cents.
There go.
If you really like 5 cents, get 5 cents. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna transition for a bit. So I got this new computer. I'm trying to figure stuff out. Figure it out. I do want to transition to something that we all love to call. Well, do we all love to call it? Or do I love to call it? I don't know. We're gonna call it something called holla. All right. What's up with all these celebrities wanting to become politicians? Yeah, I know it's been a long running tradition from Shirley Temple Black. What was that? On the good ship, lollipop, to Ronald Reagan. But damn, 45 done made it seem like it's a cakewalk. Did we really need to sit through Kanye throwing himself in the ring while at the same time complaining about his wife, his mother-in-law, and his mental illness? Then we shoot to the news this week about Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce, throwing her ring in the hat for governor of California. Yes, I know Mr. America Arnold Schwarzenegger successfully ran, but come on, son, this is getting ridiculous. My question is, should we start considering prerequisites to hold public office? Should government officials hold college degrees? Should they have served in a public capacity and within their own community? Like, what are we doing? Next thing you know, The Rock is going to say he's running for president. Wait, never mind. Have a good weekend. Marissa, where can they catch us?
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Instagram. So you have your podcast. Have a device that can stream a podcast. Right. Please play.
And I think I can get behind that.
Like, subscribe. Tell your friends. Boo.
Exactly. Thank you all for all the support, and the numbers continue to grow. And we're going to continue to do what we do.
If you believe in the flat earth, please let me know. And send me whatever video or theory. Because
There will be no
This is what I
shame
do.
from Marissa's end, but me, I will roast you.
Oh, and whomever, who was it that asked us about our gun
Oh, I
policy?
saw that. Yeah, I didn't. I meant to tell you about that, but I didn't know if you saw it or not. So yeah, can you answer that now and just say who that person is? This was on Instagram, right? Somebody said something.
Oh, he cook media. He said, I'm not the most, or they said, I'm not the most educated when it comes to gun laws and stuff. But I was watching a video on civically flat and realized it's a pretty big issue. What's your views on current gun laws and whether we should change them? I wrote back, I can speak for myself, Marissa, when I say we need smarter gun laws, greater education and preparation for those who choose to carry. He just wrote back. She or he, I apologize, just wrote back, gotcha. What would be ideal for us as a society? What would smarter look like? Ideal for us as society as a whole, I can't speak of because we all have different views and different politics and different needs and interests. As far as what would smarter look like, I would have to say I want to answer you in an analogy. I work at an elementary school and we have recess. We have monkey bars. And the rule of thumb is you can't manage the monkey bars on your own. You can't do it.
We're gonna tag you, son, or her, sir, her, she, her, me, she, her. We getting tagged.
But also smarter, also meaning those who are trained professionals when it comes to firearms, they can't, and they have carry permits, they can't carry across state lines. So I also think that, that's something that needs to be looked at as well.
Thank you for commenting and asking. And if you have any questions you want our view, let us know, boo.
I have a few. I'll share them in a long-winded analogy that makes no sense to you. Or somehow it makes sense to me.
That's all that matters, right? You.
I love that. Really.
Exactly. I'm all that matters to me. You should be all that matters to you. And collectively, we matter to Deputy Yes. Deputy Yes matters to us. And on that note,
Bye, y'all.
bye, y'all.